Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different. If you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. Magicians tier members, you will have a special little reading posted later this evening, so check that out. If you're interested in channel memberships, that link will be in the description box below. If you're interested in a personal reading, they are currently closed. They will open February 16th. If you are interested in any of the classes for February, those are about to sell out. There's about 6 seats left for the energy experience, maybe less. I didn't check this morning. And last time I checked, there were 2 seats for the Manifestation Core Principles class. So get in on those. They won't be available again for a few weeks until I start booking for March. So with that, let's go ahead. Okay. Taking a step aside and allowing Spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Someone here is about to cross a finish line of some kind. It's almost like we're coming to the end of something that either we've been working on or something that we've been trying to complete here. Yeah, something that we've been working on is kind of how it feels. And, you know, it could be something that we're trying to close out. All I know is that I'm seeing here the Queen of Pentacles. And this Queen of Pentacles, she is very nurturing. She's nurturing something. She's trying to grow something. She's working on something. She holds that pentacle, right? This is something that she has to show for herself. So I know I'm going to get asked about this before we continue. This is the Murder of Crows Tarot. Whatever this is and whoever I'm reading for, you really had to overcome some challenges in order to complete this thing. So for some of you, this might be something within yourself that you're trying to change. This might be a habit that you're trying to change, but I do feel that for a lot of you, you have something you've been working on. It's taken a lot of obstacles, a lot of time, a lot of determination, a lot of willpower in order to be able to overcome or to reach the sort of like the end stage of whatever this is. I feel that for some of you, there was almost this sense of turning back that took place somewhere within this storyline for you. And there is this cultivation of almost like a higher aspect that has come about by completing this. So whoever this message is for, you're somebody that has kind of learned to elevate yourself. You've learned to elevate your vibration and to operate from a higher state in order to see this thing through rather than getting tossed around by the emotions of the thing. Because of that Queen of Pentacles, for some of you, this may have to do with your body. There is an element to the Queen of Pentacles, though, that this is something that she's producing for the external world. We do have this 10 of Cups. There is this sense that we can see this happiness that's ahead of us here because we are reaching the finish line with whatever this is. And this is almost like a message that somebody is about to have a moment where they have to remember to pat themselves on the back and take a break and really be grateful for themselves and grateful for what they've accomplished here. Really celebrating some sort of big victory or big win. Oh, I love it. I love it. We have the 9 of Wands. So I'm going to show you these cards. Okay, I'm sorry, the 8 of Wands. We have the 10 of Cups, and then we have this 8 of Wands. And this feels very much to me like quick movement. So whatever this end stage of this project, this goal, whatever it is, it's moving very quickly. And it's almost like, I think I said this the other day, it's almost like hearing that ding, 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 bing. It's done baking. Something's finished. Something's complete. Ooh, we're coming up to like a big completion of some kind. This is a completion that may have required you to go within. Yeah. And then we follow it with the King of Cups. So I'm going to show you this here. We have the Hermit card and we have the King of Cups. When I see the the Hermit next to the King of Cups. This is always an energy of somebody that had to go inside and they had to refine their own reactions, right? So like I said, there was something about wanting to turn back in this whole process. And because you didn't turn back, that required you to overcome some natural reaction that you might have to something that triggered you. So for example, maybe you're used to feeling like you're a failure, or feeling like that nothing ever works out, and you started seeing that there were these obstacles. And so that automatic reaction is to just go back the way you came because you know what's about to happen. Someone here had to overcome things like that in order to be able to persist, right? This is very much about persistence, with that Strength card taking front and center. So someone here has been working on something, they've persisted through it, through all of the obstacles, all of the challenges, and they've really understood that they have kind of transformed. What we see here in this Ten of Cups, I just want to show the imagery here, because what we have the normal crows, and then we have this like bright spirit crow, right? This cloud crow, a crow of light. And so someone here has had to act from a higher vantage point in order to see this thing through. And after they learn to adopt that skill, that's when things seem to have moved very quickly. And there's some sort of internal change that has taken place as part of that process. They've had to kind of cage that lower aspect in order to bring this towards this finish line. Some of you may have actually completed this. I do feel that this reading is specifically coming out for people who are about to cross that finish line. Okay. The King of Cups is somebody who has had to master his emotional states, right? And so this sitting underneath this Ten of Cups is the reason why I'm reading the Ten of Cups that way. I almost feel that these belong over here. So what we have is we have the Seven of Swords and we have the Five of Swords. So one of the things wrapped up in this energy that we had to kind of master is that this is a way that we used to self-sabotage ourselves. And rather than self-sabotaging ourselves and feeling at odds with the obstacle, one of the things that a person started to do here was they started to understand that they had to win at all costs against themselves, realizing that there's a habit or a pattern or behavior that we have that may be getting in our way from ever reaching that finish line. Whatever it is that somebody has been working on here, this means that this was really important. So for example, if it is your body and you've been working on establishing an exercise routine, maybe you're used to giving up, but you finally got past that initial response of wanting to give up, and you committed to yourself, and now you're reaching your goals, right? For some of you, this might be something like writing a book. Maybe it was really hard for you to push past a particular block, or I know endings can be really hard for a lot of people. I always write endings first. I don't know why. For me, it's the beginnings, fear of the blank page. So many possibilities. But somebody here, it's like you finished something that you were working on, that you put a lot of effort into, and you had to persist through very difficult mental states, emotional states in order to do it. And you realized that there was a cycle that was taking place here that was tripping you up, and this is wanting to fight against all costs against that. I'll show these cards. It's funny, I'm noticing that rather than showing the cards the way I normally do, I'm automatically putting them down. And I feel like that's symbolic of some kind of energy that might be in here. This might be something that we're not necessarily sharing with people. We may have kept quiet about whatever this is that we're working on for some people inside this collective. Now, whoever I'm reading for, it seems like we get very stuck inside of our head. We have a lot of ideas, we have a lot of inspirations, and we may tend to overthink. That's one thing that the High Priestess does before she learns to come to her center, right? It's that quality of overthinking that gives her the ability to tune in. It's that very busy mental state. Not that the mental state itself with all its chatter is what helps her, it's the activity inside of the brain is what helps her. When she learns to come into center and come into balance, that's when that activity inside of her brain is able to tune into something else. And so here, what I said in the very beginning, it feels like we've allowed our vibration to raise, or we've elevated our awareness, or tapped into a higher aspect of self in order to see this thing through. Someone here, this has been a very big lesson in centering yourself and understanding how to stay present rather than getting lost in the little chatter that may throw us off, right? there seems to be a byproduct of this, and the byproduct of this that we weren't expecting, right? And it's not even related to the thing that we're working on, seems to be this sort of change in perception, this massive shift in perception, what we're capable of, what we're working on, what we're doing, who we are. When we have the Hangman, he's learned something about a powerful force inside of himself. And this is very interesting because it feels like this whole thing, while you are working on something that makes you happy, you've also learned a major life lesson. And I think that's awesome, right? Two birds, one stone. And with this new tool that you've developed that seems to be a tool of some sort of quality or character inside of yourself, we are looking at, let's get the last card here. Okay. We're looking at the Two of Swords. If you've been worried that you will go back to old habits, the Two of Swords indicates that that will not happen. Now, I am feeling that if you were working on something, I'm reading the Two of Swords in the old way that the Two of Swords was read, which the old way that the Two of Swords was read wasn't to block people. That would be with the swords out and the blindfold off, right? But she has the blindfold on and she has her swords crossed, meaning I'm not harmful, you can pass. That's the old way that people used to read the Two of Swords. I feel like there is something that was a block in our life that we're now moving through. And this is a byproduct of this inner quality that we've cultivated. The very center of this layout that I've done is the Hermit. So this is about internal work, an internal quest, an internal truth. There's some sort of strength and integrity that has been built up. The middle pillar of this, the middle column, is strength, Hermit, Hanged Man. And so by persisting, by overcoming some lower natures within ourselves, we have gone within, gained some sort of wisdom, and we have cultivated the ability to harness some sort of force inside of us. This force feels very much like it's going over here to this Five of Swords, and it's the tenacity to win at all costs, right? Against the obstacles, especially the obstacles inside of our mind. So someone here has really learned to mental control, right? Control of our own personal willpower, control of our emotions in order to get a job done. And this is powerful. This is kind of like what makes the difference between somebody who keeps trying a lot of different things and maybe never finishes anything, and then somebody who finishes everything that they start. I love this. This is where we funnel the energy and our willpower into a very direct focus so that we can complete our goals. So, some of you, this may be spiritual in nature. Again, others of you, I feel that it's quite physical, having to do with the body. Others of you, this might be a creative endeavor. I find it interesting that I laid it out in this super anal pattern, a super anal layout that I normally don't do. And so there may be a quality of that you've had to adopt, this systematic approach. I do this with, like, for example, my reading schedule. I have a list, and I list out everything throughout the day. I have to, otherwise I wouldn't get anything done. A, I'd forget, but B, I'm just so busy. So my list today is not impressive, otherwise I'd show you. This is a light day. I'm so happy. But some of you may have had to do that. You may have had to get real systematic and defined with yourself in order to get this done. Okay, I'm being told to take 2 cards out of this deck. Okay, this is the Goetia deck, Tarot in Darkness by Fabio Lastrani, if anybody's interested in this deck. Goetia is spelled Goetia, by the way. And there's also a Tarot in Light, which is really beautiful. I don't know, the imagery just doesn't speak to me as much, so here we are. I'll probably use that at some point. Okay, 2? Yeah, 2, just 2, okay. And, okay, so what we have here is we have the Tower, and then we have Judgment here. So for some of you, what this has involved is it has involved tearing some structure inside your life or something inside of your life down in order to rebuild it, right? The Judgment is when something becomes revived. And so, I don't know, I feel like I'm supposed to put it this way, but I will. And Again, for some of you, I feel a very heavy mental energy. Like for some of you, this is structures inside of your mind. You've had to tear those down in order to reprogram and rebuild yourself. And I do think that, as I said in the beginning, we're coming to the finish line in some task. It's almost like the evidence is the finish line. So for some of you, this may be something that you're trying to call to yourself. For example, I just pulled the King of Wands with that. The King of Wands, we have two kings here. We have the King of Cups and we have the King of Wands. Now, the King of Wands is very creative. He's able to exercise his willpower. He's in control. He's also somebody that understands how to be very charming, very diplomatic, very charismatic, and he wins people over with those qualities. But the King of Wands is the king that knows how to focus his willpower. He has that staff in his hands, which represents the element of fire, the element of the willpower. So this is what all of this is. It's like a passing through the initiation of that fiery quality of willpower and being able to control that force. When we are in that energy, it becomes easier for us to attain the things that we want to attain, right? Whether it is physically, if that's where you learned this, or if it's in our business, if you're somebody that's a business owner and this is about starting your own business or getting through a particular hurdle. For some of you, again, I'm feeling a heavy element of creativity entering this. So there may be something that you've been working on, an album, a book. Okay, and then one more. Okay, and here we have the Ten of Swords. So this wraps it up. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. This is all about ending some sort of mental struggle, right? A lot of people, they'll look at the Ten of Swords and they're like, oh my God, it's a bad card. It means like, it means, suffering, death, decay, betrayal. And I don't read the Ten of Swords that way. I don't read the Ten of Swords that way because what I see in the rest of the swords are about that mental struggle. It's about getting so lost inside of your mind and your thinking that you stay up all night and you feel trapped and all this stuff. By the time we get to the Ten of Swords, that's the breaking point. That's where that struggle ends and the old version of us dies and the new version of us is reborn. I love that Fabio Lustrani actually illustrates this. This is one of the reasons why I love him as an artist, because he has a very firm grasp on the tarot, because how he chooses to do it is with this eclipse in the background and these trumpets. Those trumpets are always a herald of change, right? The new age, the new aeon, the rising of the dead, for example, in the Judgment card. So this is kind of like sounding this new vibration out into the universe because an old version of us has passed away. So whoever this message, it sounds super dramatic here, whoever this message is for, you've put an end to this mental struggle and you've learned to kind of harness that energy. This Ten of Swords appearing does indicate that things are going to be very different for you from here on out, because like I said, this seems to be a tool that we've gained for ourselves, or that we've refined and we have inside of our toolbox now that we're able to use in other situations. So other situations that are mentally difficult, we're able to kind of control that force and control that energy. And again, that all comes back to this Hangman. He is, he always reminds me of Odin. He has sacrificed his eye, the way that, he sees one thing, in order to look inside with this Hermit card, in order to gain the knowledge of the runes, those forces of creation, the forces of nature. And that's what somebody has done here. That force of mental strength and mental conflict has been harnessed and can be focused now into a point. Let's, okay, I'm hearing one more card from this deck. Oh, I heard 3. Okay, let's get 3. 1, 2. Normally I don't take them when they slide off, but this deck for some reason likes to slide off. So that's how this one speaks to me. We have the Knight of Wands, we have the Queen of Wands, and then we have the Seven of Wands. So again, heavy emphasis on creative energy, on the focus of willpower. With the Knight of Wands, again, the Knight of Wands comes and goes, right? And again, with the Strength card, it feels like we had to overcome a little bit of that. But the Knight of Wands in this context, at the very end of your reading, really talks about, while we may have that urge still within our life, we're going to be very passionate about things. Because it's sitting next to that Queen of Wands, I don't think that this is a passion that will dictate as it, comes and goes, whether we come or go. The Queen of Wands doesn't do that. The Queen of Wands always remembers what it is that she's trying to manifest, what it is that she's trying to create. And I see that this is the energy we're moving into, is this King of Wands, Queen of Wands energy, where we're kind of seated on that throne and we remember who we are and exactly where it is that we're going. We have this Seven of Wands energy that's coming out after that. And the Seven of Wands is fighting for what it is that we want. It's standing up for what we want. And so this is the energy that we're landing in. We're understanding how to go the long haul and play the long game in order to get the thing that we are truly trying to accomplish inside of our lives. And this is beautiful because, like I said, this is what separates somebody who never really can kind of get a handle on their life or the things that they're trying to create inside of their life, because they get discouraged very easily or they give up when they feel like it, right? This here, what I'm seeing is somebody has transformed into the type of person who remembers why they started. And that's the important thing, and then they see it through. And this is how we have these great accomplishments inside of our lives and how we make our lives better, because you won't always wake up and feel like you want to do the thing you wanted to do yesterday. Again, I'm going to say it just because of the heavy emphasis on the physical stuff. If you're somebody that you are just getting into working out or just getting into some sort of physical habit for the first time, you're not always going to feel like doing that when you wake up, right? I've had arthritis my whole life, ever since I was 17, 16 years old. And I have it in weird places. I have it in my collarbone. I broke without going into the story of how it broke, I broke my arm once, and it never healed correctly. And I was a guitar player for 20 years. So this arm is all kinds of messed up. And I used to be part of an MMA gym, and we had a heavy emphasis on catch wrestling. And so I didn't always feel like going into that gym, but I did, whether I felt like it or not, because I had to, for me, right? This is about committing to yourself, and someone has learned to commit to themselves and to focus on what it is that they're trying to achieve. And this is huge, because when we gain this as a skill, we're able to accomplish things in our life that previously weren't available to us. Okay, and I'm going to pull one last card here. And I'm going to pull it from, I'm actually going to break tradition. I'm going to use it from the Urban Crow Oracle, even though I don't necessarily feel that it's a ancestor or a spirit guide here. Let's see. Urban Crow Oracle, one card. Okay. Ooh, two cards are coming. Okay. Again, somebody here, it might have taken this sort of anal approach, right, where you have to make it very systematic and you have to make it a routine. Someone here has had to make something very routine in order to accomplish this. And we have protection. So this is about protecting the thing that you're trying to create. There may be an element of this in making sure that we don't sabotage ourselves. For some of you, is other people trying to sabotage you. And we've had to remember the potential and the thing that we're actually trying to grow, and we've had to protect that throughout this. Learning these two skills, that routine and how to protect what you're trying to create, these are huge. And that seems to be the whole basis of this. This is the quality and the characteristics that we've developed along the way that is allowing us to bring forward something very meaningful into the world. So whether it's just for us or if it's for many people. So this is the reading. I'm going to leave this here. If this resonated for you, please hit that like button. Whatever it is that you guys are working on, you're almost at that finish line. So congratulations. And until next time.